A large retail store just canceled a huge order, leaving us with a ton of extra My Pillows. But you know what? That's their loss. I'm going to make it your gain. For the first time ever, you get standard classic My Pillows for wholesale prices, only $14.88. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.88. But it gets even better. For a limited time, I'm going to offer my entire classic collection at wholesale prices. Upgrade to a queen size My Pillow for just $18.88. King size only $1 more. Get my body pillows for $29.88 and multi-use My Pillows for only $9.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on the screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of wholesale pricing for the first time ever on TV, including my standard size My Pillow, only $14.88. They've never been offered this low before. We have limited quantities at this price, so limit's going to be 10, and once they're gone, they're gone.
This is Chris Ruddy, and I love Gene Valentino's Grassroots Truth Cast. Make sure you're tuning in just like I do every day, every week, every minute.
Let's bring in our panel now. Former National Press Secretary for the Trump campaign and Principal Deputy Press Secretary at the Trump White House, Hogan Gidley, and also GOP political strategist and host of the Grassroots Truth Cast podcast, Gene Valentino. Guys, welcome.
Great to be with you.
All right, so, in early in-person voting, there's already a record in Georgia today, 234,000 as of 3:30. Hogan, are you reading into any of that? Obviously, there's a big rally there tonight. Donald Trump seems to have, momentum there, and she's struggling with black males.
Yeah, absolutely. And Donald Trump has put a premium on getting out the vote, regardless of how you want to do it, whether it be early, whether it be by mail, obviously in person on Election Day. In addition, a lot of the numbers are favoring Republicans on those who have registered in the Republican Party, far outpacing previous years as well. A lot of good signs for the Trump campaign. And then when you see they've released some internal numbers showing him leading in many of the swing states, including Georgia, it really is still going to be all about turnout and making sure your people get to the polls to actually vote. That's what these things always come down to. The issues, of course, matter. That's why Donald Trump is surging right now. Kamala Harris is faltering. But those blocking and tackling mechanisms that really get people to turn out, that's what matters now.
Absolutely. Charlemagne the God was featured in a Trump ad where he's, against Kamala's transgender policies, paying for transgender surgeries for prisoners, Gene. He'll be sitting down with her, but she's also doing this opportunity economy for black men, which some say is actually probably not legal. It's business loans that obviously are inflationary. But when you're, on defense, I guess buying votes is the tactic she's now resorting to.
Well, that is a clear sign of desperation, is it not? They did it with the student loan program as well. Let's forgive the debt with everybody. If you're going to use government incentives or government money, it's as Donald Trump has done historically. You create incentives for businesses to hire people because millions of extra people working has a greater ripple effect in the economy, which has a greater impact for the overall wellness in the economy. But Bianca, the numbers don't make sense. This horse race of 51-49, 50-48. How can you have such a close series of polling numbers that make it so tight? And yet in the communities, in the news, we see such a disparity in terms of public sentiment.
You're right, and it could be oversampling. A lot of people have been, talking about that. But ultimately it comes down to character, likability. Clearly she's struggling. Waltz isn't any better. He's fumbling with his gun. He's talking now to students at the University of Wisconsin, and this is what he says about the gender gap.
And I'm talking here on this one, especially to the guys. You keep hearing about this gap on there. I refuse to admit that that's real because I know that we care deeply. I know these issues matter to you. I know they matter to all of us. We need to get, especially young men, out there to vote. This is not damn WWE type stuff. And again, they're all talk on this. I guarantee you I can shoot better pheasants than them.
Hogan, this is just weird.
It's so stupid. This party spent 3.5 years mocking and deriding men, calling them toxic, saying they really have no place, that women should rule everything and men should just get out of the way. And then in the last 3 weeks, they're trying to say, oh, hey, men, look how much we respect you. We shoot guns and drink beer, too. This whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. The American people are seeing through it. They wanted to get men back on the radar screen for their own campaign, so they hired someone like Tim Walz, someone who mandates putting tampons in boys' bathrooms in public schools in Minnesota, someone who wants to use taxpayer dollars to fund illegal aliens' health care and give them free college tuition. I'm sorry, regardless of gender, that's not good policy. And the more we expose that, the further apart these people will be when it comes time for election day, and Donald Trump can win this thing really, really handedly. Yeah, and
when she just first got the nomination, we all remember after the DNC, they're like, oh, this low testosterone man, they're going to come. It doesn't sound like any man's coming out for them. It sounds like they're losing on all these huge voting blocks, Latinos, blacks, and part of this too, I think too, comes down to the world, not just here, serious problems in our country, but also concerns about what's going on. You have Taiwan now seeing an uptick in provocation by China in the past few days. The Middle East, completely a mess. And right now, there's this political action committee, Arab Americans. They've endorsed a candidate every year for the past 20 years. This year, no, they're not going to endorse Harris. They usually do endorse Democrats. They're not going to endorse Trump either. But all that pandering, Gene, when it comes down to it, she still could lose Michigan.
Because the deep state has unilaterally funded billions of dollars to the Democrat agenda, Democratic candidates and appointees, and they cannot be seen as being supportive of Donald Trump. But the grassroots of the people in this nation know better. And if the polls are really to be telling the truthful story, Trump wins by 10 points this election plus.
Hey, Hogan, I have 30 seconds. The Economic Club in Chicago was an interesting, hour and a half. We took it live here earlier on one of my shows. Another room where the crowd is applauding him, and he has this adversarial, the Bloomberg editor-in-chief used to run, The Economist there, really, riding him. Kamala Harris was invited. She didn't show up. She didn't dare to show up.
Why would she? She's caused all the problems we currently face with high prices for gas and groceries. And watching that interview, and I encourage your viewers to go out there and do it if they haven't done so, listening to that man try and pin Donald Trump down on, hey, you're going to increase inflation. The experts are telling you you're going to do all these horrible things to the economy. Donald Trump said, well, that's funny because I did them before, and we had low inflation. You could afford the things in your life you wanted to buy. It's absolutely absurd and insane. I'm glad he called him out for it.
Me too. And it just goes to show that the mainstream media is the propaganda arm for the Democratic Party. Hogan, Gene, thanks, guys. Good to have you both in with us today.
Throughout history, the spirit of patriotism has prevailed. The battles may have changed, but the values remain the same. Today, in 2024, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment where the call for unity, freedom, and a better future echoes louder than ever. For more than 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been committed to supporting the values that make our nation great. With affordable plans and reliable nationwide coverage, Patriot Mobile is not just a wireless service. It's a call to action for those who believe in the American dream. Because this year is not just any year, it's the most important year since our nation's founding. Choose a wireless carrier that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.